of a rope, had enough of too many things, yeah, before it all adds up to one major overload. Let it go, oh, into the river that flows. Let it go, oh, catching up pulls you down. Tomorrow never comes when we're around. Fall in love right here and now, yeah. Yesterday is just a fading sunset on your shadow. Let it go, oh, just let the river flow. Let it go, yeah. Pointless fingers aim at nothing, asking you to believe that your brothers and sisters are taking something that you're gonna need, yeah. And don't you wonder why you look for alibis when all you really want is what you already know. Look at today and how you ought to know by now. You never really held anything until you let it go. Oh, don't you know? You let the river flow. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, just like a river flow, yeah, let it go. Oh,
Shalom, Chavarim. Welcome to our Tuesday fellowship and our continuation with our study of Shemoth, Exodus. I got a couple of notes and a few other things. Love you too, Tiffany. I hope you're feeling better. Hope the kids are all doing good. I love seeing all of you here, my friends. But, let's kick it off the way we're supposed to. Let's stop the chat. Let's bow our hearts and give this fellowship over to our beloved Elohim with prayer. Dear beloved Abba, Father, Yahweh. Oh, Father, we come before you to worship you, to praise you and thank you, Father, for your mighty anointing on the delivery of your word this day, for your mighty berakah on this fellowship this day. And thank you, Abba, for surrounding this mishpacha, your family, with a quadruple row of your Geder HaKodesh, your hedge of protection. As we give this day and every day, Father, to you, Yeshua, and your indwelling Ruach HaKodesh, praying through Yeshua in Yahweh Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. And all the Mishpecha said,
Amen.
Amen. Shalom, little girl.
Shalom, Alan and Mishpacha.
What's new? You got anything to shout out about?
To shout out about the study, man. I got up at 5:30 this morning, and my first thought was, is it 1 o'clock yet?
Cool.
Praise Abba.
Praise Abba. See you in a little bit.
Shalom.
Shalom. Yeah, so today we're going to do 3 chapters. Of course, 9, 10, and 11. Chapter 11 is pretty short. But we'll be finishing up on our study about the plagues. I got a text from Vanessa just a couple of minutes ago. She says, "Good morning, Chavari. I'm on my way to the airport." She's on her phone, so she has limited access to the live stream. She'll be listening in if she's able to, though, and she gives everyone her love. So we won't see Vanessa in the chat. Of course, caregiver's here. You can see her in blue. She's got her wrench. If you're new here, she's here to help you pay attention to anything she tells you. And she's also here to get rid of any stray dogs or, cry babies. Oops. Shot the baby. It's okay. They're not bullets. They're light. They're bolts of light. So, last time we got together, is Brown Eyes here? I don't remember seeing her, but she'll probably be around at some point. Brown Eyes asked us about the Noahide laws. And, my friends, I spend all my time with Elohim. I pay no attention to the world. I don't watch any newscasts. I don't read any newspapers. I never did. So Noahide, I had no idea what it was, but it showed very plainly the craftiness of Hashatan, because that name, Noahide laws. I thought Noah and laws, I thought, oh, Torah and Moses, what? And that's what they're doing. They're playing with people's heads. And even the rabbis will tell everyone that these Noahide laws are, I don't know, they try and give you the idea that they're scriptural. They're not. They have nothing to do with Abba, Father, Yahweh. Nothing. They are just garbage from rabbis and whatnot. Caregiver hooked me up with a great video. I'm going to give you the link to Stephen Ben-Danoon and his lovely wife. I never saw her before. That was fun. But they interviewed Dr. Lorraine Day. It's an hour long, and I was riveted to my seat. Dr. Lorraine Day captivated me. She's just full of light and truth, and I just couldn't help embrace every word that came out of her mouth. So after we're done with today's fellowship, and after YouTube finishes processing it, which will probably be, a couple of hours from now, a good hour after we're finished, then we can post comments. Once that's all done, I'll post a comment under the video with a link to Stephen Ben-Danoon and his wife talking with Dr. Lorraine Day. And I'll pin it so it always stays at the very top of all the comments. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. This thing about the Noahide laws is just real bad. Bad. Not good. Stay away from the Noahide laws. It also shows we are so close to being done with this world. Wow, it's just unbelievable. Anyway, we've seen the first 4 of 10 plagues. The first was the plague of blood, chapter 7. The second plague was frogs. The third was gnats or lice. The fourth was those blood-sucking horseflies. Those 3 were all from chapter 8. Today, we're going to go through the rest. The plagues of livestock, plague of boils, fun, plague of hail, the plague of locusts, the plague of darkness, that's a strange one, and finally the plague of the firstborn sons. Yeah, we'll get through all of those today. So, let's begin our study. Exodus, Shemoth, chapter 9. We left off. We left off with Yahweh's telling Moses, you got to go talk to Pharaoh. Moses is like, he's not going to listen to me, man. He's like, even our own people, they wouldn't listen to me. Why would he listen to me? I got a speech impediment. Please give me a break. No. Yahweh said to Moshe, go to Pharaoh and tell him, thus says Yahweh, Elohim of the Ivrim, the Hebrews, let my children go, that they may serve me. If you refuse to let them go and still hold them, look, the hand of Yahweh will fall on your livestock, which are out in the field, on the horses, the donkeys, the camels, the herds, and the flocks. There will be a very severe plague. But Yahweh will make a distinction between the livestock of Yisrael, Israel, and the livestock of Egypt, Mitzrayim, and nothing shall die of all that belongs to the Yisraelites, the Israelites. And Yahweh set a time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh will do this thing in the land. And Yahweh did that the next day, and all kinds of the livestock of Mitzrayim died, but none of the livestock of the Israelites died, not one. And Pharaoh sent to find out, and look, there wasn't one of the cattle of the Israelites dead, not one. All the Israelites' animals were safe and sound. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened. His mind was fixed. And he did not let Yahweh's children go. He had no choice, you could say, gee, what an idiot. No, he didn't have any choice. Abba Father was causing him to be stiff-necked. So Yahweh said to Moshe and Aharon, take handfuls of ashes or soot from the brick kiln. I know it's spelled kiln, but it's pronounced kill, an oven. And let Moshe sprinkle them toward the Shamayim in the sight of Pharaoh. Handfuls of ashes or soot, and let Moshe sprinkle them toward the Shamayim in Pharaoh's sight, and it'll become small dust over all the land of Mitzrayim, and that will cause boils breaking out and sores on man and beast in all the land that is occupied by the Egyptians only. Just the land that's occupied by Egyptians, nowhere else. So they took ashes or soot from the kiln, the oven, and stood before Pharaoh. And Moshe threw them towards the sky, and it became boils erupting in sores on man and beast. What a sight, you know? And the magicians, forget their names, it was Mamre and the other guy, you know, the cleanliness freaks, shaved their heads every day because they had lice. Lice. Because of their satanic lives. Anyway, the magicians couldn't stand before Moshe because of their boils. The boils were on the magicians and all the Egyptians, all the Mitzrites. So the magicians not only had lice, now they got boils, and the lice are probably all over the boils. Don't you appreciate me painting an even uglier picture for you? Sorry. But Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, making Pharaoh's heart strong and obstinate, and he would not listen to them or heed them, just as Yahweh told Moshe. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, "Get up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and say to him, 'Thus says Yahweh, the Elohim of the Ivrim, let my children go so that they can serve me. Because this time I'm going to send all my plagues upon your heart and upon your servants and your people, that you may recognize and know that there is none like me in all the earth. For by now I could have put forth my hand, and I could have struck you and your people with pestilence, and you would have been cut off from the earth. I could have killed every one of you, but for this very purpose I've let you live. Why? That I might show you my power, and that, what? My name may be declared throughout all the earth. What? He let them live. Why? So that his name may be declared throughout all the earth. By the way, we go back to verse 8. And, the dust turning into boils all over the place. We see a similar judgment in the book of Revelation, Chazon, chapter 16, verse 2, which is the first of the bowl judgments on those who took the mark of the beast and who esteemed the image of the beast. Verse 13, actually 14, there's, he says, I'll send all my plagues on your heart. But in Revelation again, chapter 8, verse 7, we see a similar judgment. This is the plague of hail. And the first of the trumpet judgments in Revelation, Chazon, a storm of hail and fire mingled with blood. This is in Revelation during the tribulation, causing 1/3 of the earth, 1/3 of the trees, and all of the grass to be burned up. And then, take a double look at this, my friends. Verse 16, we just read. Yahweh has raised us up for what purpose? to proclaim his name in all the earth. That's his reason for raising us up. And who's doing it? Man. Verse 17, since you're still exalting yourself in haughty defiance against my people by not letting them go. You know, this applies since you are still exalting yourself. He's talking to Pharaoh, but that applies. You look at everyone and anyone who's preaching the word and who is not proclaiming the Father's name. Every one of them is exalting themselves. Yahweh says, look, since you're still exalting yourself, Pharaoh, in haughty defiance against my people by not letting them go, tomorrow, right around this time, I will cause it to rain a very heavy and dreadful fall of hail. There's the hail I was talking about. Such as has not been in Egypt, Mitzrayim, from its founding until now. Never seen before this kind of a hail. Send therefore now, and gather your cattle in quickly, and all that you have in the field, because every man and beast that is in the field and is not brought home will be struck by the hail and will die. And then he who worshipped the word of Yahweh. Wherever you see fear Yahweh, or he who feared Yahweh in the word, no, get rid of fear. Worshipping Yahweh. Fear is just a bad English word. I mean, if we worship him, certainly we are extremely concerned that we never disappoint him, but we never fear our Father, who we know loves us. He who worshipped the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his livestock flee into the houses and shelters. Everyone who respected and revered the things that Yahweh said, grabbed their servants, livestock, got them, out of the fields, into the houses and shelters. And he who ignored the instructions of Yahweh left his servants, livestock, out in the fields to die. Well, that's true today too. Anyone who ignores the word of Yahweh, you will proclaim the name of Yahweh. Everyone who ignores that, you can be left out in the fields to die. I'm not saying they're all going to die. They'll be sorry that they did not embrace his name. And look, most people are not going to embrace his name. Those who embrace his name are very few in number. Remember the narrow path? Very few look for it. Fewer still find it. Fewer still stay on it. Verse 22, Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch forth your hand toward the heavens, toward the Shamayim, that there may be hail in all the land of Mitzrayim upon man and beast, and upon all the vegetation of the field throughout the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe stretched forth his rod toward the Shamayim, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail and fire, lightning, ran down to and along the ground, and Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Mitzrayim. During the tribulation, we see the hail mingled with fire, which could mean lightning, but also with blood. So there was hail and fire flashing continually in the midst of the weighty hail, such as had not been in all the land of Mitzrayim ever since it became a nation. The hail struck down throughout all the land of Mitzrayim everything that was in the field, both man and beast, and the hail beat down all the vegetation of the field and shattered every tree of the field. Everything flattened. Only in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were, Joseph's land, Yosef, was there no hail. And Pharaoh sent for Moshe and Aharon and said to them, I have sinned this time. Yahweh's in the right, and I and my people are in the wrong. What? That's right, you heard me. Please entreat Yahweh, because there's been enough of these mighty thunderings and hail, these voices of Elohim. I will let you go. You shall stay here no longer. Moshe said to him, as soon as I leave the city, I'll stretch out my hands to Yahweh. The thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail, so that you may know that the earth is Yahweh's. But as for you and your servants, I know that you do not yet revere or worship Yahweh Elohim. The flax and the barley were smitten and ruined, for the barley was in the ear and the flax was in bloom. But the wheat and spelt altogether, the wheat and spelt being another kind of wheat, were not smitten because they ripened late and were not grown up yet. So Moshe left the city and Pharaoh, stretched forth his hands to Yahweh, and the thunder and the hail ceased, and rain was no longer poured upon the earth. But when Pharaoh saw that the rain, the hail, and the thunder stopped, he sinned even more, and toughened and stiffened his hard heart, he and his servants. So Pharaoh's heart was strong and obstinate. He would not let the Israelites go, just as Yahweh had said through Moshe. Yahweh said to Moshe, go to Pharaoh, because I've made his heart hard and his servants' hearts, that I might show these my signs of divine power before him, and that you may recount in the ears of your own son and of your grandson what I have done in derision of the Mitzrites, and what things I have repeatedly done here. My signs of divine power done among them, that you may recognize and know that I am Yahweh. So Moshe and Aharon went to Pharaoh and said to him, thus says Yahweh, the Elohim of the Ivrim, how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Because if you refuse to let my people go, look, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your country, and they will cover the land so that no one can see the ground, and they will eat the remainder of what escaped and is left to you from the hail, and they will eat every tree of yours that grows in the field. The locusts will fill your houses and those of all your servants and all of the Mitzrites, as neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen from their birth until this day. Then Moshe departed from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's servants said to him, look, how long is this man going to be a snare to us? Let them go, that they may serve Yahweh their Elohim. Do you not yet understand and know that Mitzrayim is destroyed? So Moshe and Aharon were brought again to Pharaoh, and he said to them, Go, serve Yahweh your Elohim, but just who are to go? And Moshe said, We will go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, with our flocks and our herds, all of us and all we have. For we must hold a feast to Yahweh. Pharaoh said to them, Let Yahweh be with you if I ever let you go with your little ones. See, you have some evil purpose in mind. Not so. You that are men without your families go and serve Yahweh, for that is what you want. And Moshe and Aharon were driven from Pharaoh's presence. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, Stretch out your hand over the land of Mitzrayim for the locusts, that they may come on the land of Mitzrayim and eat all the vegetation of the land, all that the hail has not destroyed. And Moshe stretched forth his rod over the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahweh brought an east wind upon the land all that day, all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. The locusts were blown in. And the locusts came up over all the land of Mitzrayim and settled down on the entire country of Mitzrayim, a very dreadful mass of them. Never before were there such locusts as these, nor will there ever be again. They covered the entire land so that the ground was darkened. They ate every bit of vegetation of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. There remained not a green thing of the trees or the plants of the field in all the land of Mitzrayim. And then Pharaoh sent for Moshe and Aharon in haste. He said, I have sinned against Yahweh your Elohim and you. Now therefore forgive my sin, I pray you, only this once, and entreat Yahweh your Elohim, only that he may remove from me this plague of death. If I was Moshe, I'd be like, yeah, right, man. But no, Moshe left Pharaoh, and he entreated Yahweh. And Yahweh turned a violent west wind, which lifted the locusts and drove them into the Red Sea. Not one locust remained in the entire country of Mitzrayim. But Yahweh made Pharaoh's heart more strong and obstinate, and he would not let the Israelites go. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Stretch out your hand toward the Shamayim, that there may be darkness over the land of Mitzrayim, a darkness which may be felt. This, my friends, was not, a darkness like the darkness of night. This was a spiritual darkness. You could feel darkness, evil, threat, fear, thick everywhere. So Moshe stretched out his hand toward the Shamayim, and for 3 days a thick darkness was all over the land of Egypt. Physical, but even more so spiritual. You could feel it. The Mitzrites could not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the Israelites had natural light. All the Israelites had natural light in their dwellings. What a thing to behold. And Pharaoh called to Moshe and said, Go, serve Yahweh. Let your little ones also go with you. It's only your flocks and your herds that must not go. But Moshe said, "You must give into our hand also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim. Our livestock also will go with us. There will not a hoof be left behind. For of them we must take to serve Yahweh our Elohim, and we know not with what we must serve Yahweh until we arrive there." But Yahweh made Pharaoh's heart stronger and more stubborn. He would not let them go. And Pharaoh said to Moshe, "Get away from me. See that you never enter my presence again. For the day you see my face again, you will die." And Moshe said, "You've spoken truly. I will never see your face again." Note, Chavarim, the key message here, as well as in the book of Chazon, Revelation, is that Israel is delivered. Israel is redeemed. The plague of locusts, we can also see in Revelation chapter 9, the fifth of the trumpet judgments. The abyss, the bottomless pit, is opened, and a physical darkness, this is in the tribulation, this is a physical darkness of the sun and the atmosphere, out of which pours forth locusts coming up out of the abyss, the bottomless pit, that have the power of scorpions. Nothing like the locusts here in Mitzrayim. These are a satanic race of demons that we see in Revelation and the tribulation. The darkness we saw here in Egypt, that's a spiritual darkness. It could be felt. And Egypt worshipped Ra, the god of light. Yeah, he wasn't any help during that darkness. And we see something similar in Revelation chapter 16, verse 10, with the fifth of the bowl judgments being poured onto the throne of the beast, and his kingdom gets plunged into darkness. And now we look at the final plague, the plague of the firstborn. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Look, yet will I bring one plague more on Pharaoh and on Mitzrayim. Afterwards he will let you go. When he lets you go from here, he will thrust you out altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people, and let every man solicit and ask of his neighbor. Let every woman solicit and ask of her neighbor jewels of silver and jewels of gold." And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Mitzrites. Moreover, the man Moshe was exceedingly great in the land of Mitzrayim, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and of the Mitzrites, the people of Egypt. And Moshe said, "Thus says Yahweh, about midnight I will go out into the midst of Mitzrayim, and all the firstborn in the land, the pride, hope, and joy of Egypt, will die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the maidservant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of all the beasts. There shall be a great cry in all the land of Mitzrayim, such as never been, nor ever shall be again. But against any of the Israelites shall not so much as a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that you may know that Yahweh makes a distinction between the Mitzrites and the Israelites, between the Egyptians and the Israelites. And all these your servants shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, Get out, and all the people who follow you. And after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in great anger. And then Yahweh said to Moshe, Pharaoh will not listen to you, that my wonders and miracles may be multiplied in the land of Mitzrayim. Moshe and Aharon did all these wonders and miracles before Pharaoh, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's stubborn heart, and he did not let the Israelites go out of his land. Note, Pharaoh in Egypt favored Israel in that Israel was worshiping idols. You know, when they asked him for all the jewels and everything, they were shown favor by all the people in Egypt. Why? Because Israel was worshiping a lot of their false gods. You can see that in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 8. Let's take a quick peek. Yahweh says here, Let every man cast away the abominable things on which he feasts his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. But they rebelled against me, Yahweh said, and they would not listen to me, talking about the Israelites. They did not, every man, cast away the abominable things on which they feasted their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I thought, I will pour out my wrath upon them and finish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Mitzrayim. But, you know, it's one reason that all the Egyptians showed the Israelites favor is because the Israelites were worshiping the gods of Egypt. That's our study for today, Chavarim. We'll stop there and turn to the chat and any questions you may have. Yeah, I've got my 80%, well, 90% coconut water, 10% fresh squeezed OJ. Yummy. Let's go back to the chat. Back up a little bit, see if there are any questions going on up here. Usually there aren't. Yep, just a lot of chatting, a lot of fellowship going on. It's nice to see you all talking about so many things together. Yeah, if you have questions, you know, if you're new here, put a capital Q, Q, Q in front of your question. That'll get my attention. Or, you know, type my name, Alan Horvath with a capital A, a capital H. It'll come up in a red box. That'll get my attention too. John Ryan, hey buddy, what's going on? What was Yahweh doing with Pharaoh, and what message are we to understand? Well, I think it was explained in the text, John. Yahweh was hardening Pharaoh's heart to show him who's in charge. That Yahweh is the I am, the only one, unlike, there's nobody like him. He has no beginning, he has no end. He is the one who creates everything seen and unseen. He can control everything, no matter, what. Pharaoh, Yahweh was hardening his heart all that time, just to show who's in charge. Hey, little girl. What do you got?
It came to me through the study, too, that he is in a marvelous object lesson from Mishle, Proverbs 29:1, that says, one often reproved who stiffens his neck is broken suddenly with no remedy.
Amen. Thank you, little girl. She adds so much, I love it. Yeah, Abba knows people's hearts. Nobody knows people's hearts. You don't even know your own heart, my friends. We cannot read our own hearts, much less anyone else's. Abba can read people's hearts. And he knows, how wicked people are. And some people, he just causes them to stumble more and more and more, just to make his point stronger than he would otherwise. That's all. Pat Carlson, hey man. Yeah, it wasn't easy, was it? But you got rid of Alan Wins. I don't know. Were you able to change your name, or did you have to create a whole new account? Pat says, how come Pharaoh didn't recognize Moshe as family? He's not family. Why? Because you mean he was raised an Egyptian? Pharaoh didn't know Moshe back then. And Moshe is not family. Moshe is an Israelite, not a Mitzrite. Uh-oh. Where were you, man? Did we go out to sea again? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I didn't recognize him as family because he wasn't family. Humble Family Ministries. Yeah, they say we are so blown away. His name is so important. It was definitely of Abba that you read the sacred Shem revelation before this. Yeah, first we focused on the name. Now we're reading about the book of names. And boy, the point was made. Why does he lift us up? So that we will publish and profess his name. Yahweh. Oh, well. Oh, Pat. Pat had to create a new account. Well, thank you, Pat. You show me a lot of love by going through all that trouble to honor my request. I love you too, man. Tiffany, that coconut water in OJ makes me thirsty, especially when he stirs it. I can hear the ice clinking around. This is so delicious, I can't tell you. OJ, when it's watered down, you cut back on all that sugar and it's much more thirst quenching. Says who? Says me, yeah. Frederick Shemoth. Alan, is it your belief that what happened in Exodus parallels what's happening today approaching the trib? No, I don't think it's got anything to do with anything other than, you can say yes, you can say no. The Father's word parallels everything all over the place. The thing that's being paralleled is, as I've already pointed out in, pretty much every one of our studies here in the book of Shemoth, Egypt represents the world. And, Pharaoh and his dumb blindness and everything represents how most people are. They worship the things of the world, and they don't love or worship Yahweh, and they get their butts kicked for it. So, I mean, in that sense, yeah, but not in the sense of, you know, let's not get nitpicky about making points. It's like, oh, this happened in Egypt first, then that happened, so let's watch for this to happen here, you know, in 2019. And once that happens, we'll know that that happens. Now, people can get carried away with interpreting the Father's word in the flesh. We don't want to do that. John says, I understand now. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here, John. I mean, I know you've been with us for a while, and I know you're really digging in your studies of the Father's word. And honestly, I've been rejoicing. You've caused me to rejoice a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you for digging in the way you dig in. Tony Vernon says, Alan prays for all the Mishpacha continuously. You got that right. I pray for all of you, my friends, numerous times every day. Yeah. You know, Abba put you guys under my responsibility in a way. I'm here to represent Elohim to you, and I take that very seriously. Stephanie Crow, Alan, he knows who loves him. He knows their heart. That's right, Stephanie. And it must be a very sad knowing how few the number is, because it really is a very small number. I'm constantly astonished at how few care about Abba Father. Humble Family Ministries again. I love you too, guys. Many so-called believers claim they're seeking Abba's will, but is it safe to say that his will for his children is to pitch our tent with him so we can proclaim Yahweh? Yeah. Anybody that's not doing that, they don't care about him. They care about themselves. I always say, look, you know, whenever you're looking at anybody, any kind of a teacher out there, ask yourself, who is being esteemed? Are they esteeming themselves and selling products? Or are they esteeming Yahweh? One or the other. And it's almost always the depressing one that they're just esteeming themselves. Look what I discovered. Look at my knowledge. Read my book. Yeah, caregiver says, everyone, please remember to use the English with your Hebrew, as long as it's not the names. We leave those out because they're all disgusting. But yeah, if you're saying Mishpacha, I said this last time, in parentheses, put family, so that the newcomers don't feel left out. Let them know what you're doing. Let them learn, you know, when you see Mishpacha in parentheses, it says family, that lets people know. Just like Christine Race just did right here, the Mishpacha, family, is a wonderful beracha, blessing for all us. That's the way to do it. Way to go, Christine! Yeah, we want to help people to understand. Yeah, good. We're pretty close to the bottom. Is that you, little girl?
It is. We just had a new person, Rolien van Dijkhorst. Oh, I really mangled that. I love you, man. I'm so glad you're here. Who is new and said please and thank you for that.
Oh, there it is. Rolien van Dijkhorst. Please and thank you.
regarding the Hebrew and the English. And I just wanted to say we do have newcomers today, praise Ava, and so it was particularly important to get that message out. And he thanked us, right? Or thanked you right away.
Yeah, and thank you for putting the message in all caps.
Praise Ava.
Amen. Shalom.
Oh.
Yeah, see, we have people here for the first time every time. We never do a live fellowship where there aren't a number of people here for the very first time. So, Chavarim, Mishpacha, my friends, my family, let's be considerate and loving of newcomers. And, if you don't put those, Mishpacha, and then in brackets put family, then you're not being considerate of newcomers at all. And that is not good. Here we go. Rob, GNC. If you consider all the people since humankind was created, how many in percentage do you think will make it to Haven? Oh, you mean New Haven, Connecticut? First of all, Rob, there's no place called heaven. Sorry.
Sorry.
The word heaven in Aramaic Hebrew would be the word Shemoth. Doesn't appear anywhere from Genesis to Revelation, from Bereshith to Chazon. You never see a singular place called heaven, Shemoth. It's always Shamayim, which is plural, heavens. Now, how many in percentage do you think will make it to the Shamayim? You've got some educating to do, Rob, before you even realize how uneducated your question is. And don't take that personally. I don't mean it as an insult. It's just that it's not that simple. Watch my video titled The B'nai Elohim. How do we get to that one? I think if we just type children. Go to YouTube, up top, type Watch Allen, one word, WATCHALAN, space, and then type in children. There you go. Who are the children of Elohim? Watch this video explains a lot. What do you got, little girl?
Straight and narrow might be a good one to add as well.
You didn't ring the bell.
Straight and narrow may be a good one as well.
Thank you. I like the bell. All right, let's see. Watch Allen, STRAIGHT, straight. See, all you need is one word. Straight and narrow, the teaching. So anyway, straight and narrow, B'nai Elohim explains a whole lot about the entire thing of creation and what Abba's doing. There's a lot of different groups. Rob. So, look, I think the number of those who are going to be taken in the Nekatef and go to the Shamayim, they're heaven dwellers. They dwell in the Shamayim, not on the earth. I think that number is very, very, very small in comparison to the other number, which are how many people are going to be saved throughout all of history. I think that number is huge beyond imagination, but they're going to be earth dwellers. I don't know, study the book of Revelation with me. I get into it there too. But that's a powerful question, Rob, that doesn't have such an easy answer as we all might like to see. Ryan says, thank you for saying that, Alan. I'm so concerned that I'm not doing enough. That means that you are, John. The only way you wouldn't be doing enough is if you thought you were. I'm not kidding. That's a good gauge. The more you really care about your position with Elohim, the more you are, the more you can be sure that you are on target. Dana Day, I just found you, was led to you. That's usually what happens, Dana. The Ruach causes people to bump into my channel. And let me tell you, it's a very small number that bump into me. So you're something special. And Dana says, can't stop watching the videos, catching up feverishly. Well, hallelujah. But take your time. Don't rush through them. There's so much to take in. Uh-oh. I should have grabbed some text. How far out to sea are we? Good grief. Oh, man. Hello? Okay. I just recognized something. Maybe I lost the mark I had. Oh, this is way... I was there before. Tiffany says the children's cartoons totally butcher this story. So misleading. That's what Caregiver was saying. I've never seen them. There's no churchiosity in my life. But Caregiver kept saying, boy, you know, they never, ever teach that Yahweh caused Pharaoh to be stubborn. All of the churchiosity teachings just make Pharaoh out to be a jerk. And no, Yahweh made him be a jerk. Of course, he was a jerk, but Yahweh made him be a jerk to the max just to make his point. Yeah. There we go. There's Rob's question. Somehow I lost my my place. Stephanie says, Alan, you keep us on the narrow path. That's my job, Stephanie. Thank you. Irina Petrescu. There's a new one. Thank you, Alan. I'm thinking about Daniel 12:4, quote, but you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. Yeah, look, our knowledge of the word is increasing huge. For me, it started, if you look at my videos chronologically, I think it started with the books of Kepha, that's Peter, where if you go back and you start watching those, you'll see, I don't want to do chapter numbers and verse numbers anymore, my friends. I just want to read the word. And everybody's like, yeah, do it. There was a change right there. And you can see Abba's progression in his delivery through me of his word, to where you go back more recently, we did the book of Yochanan, John, followed by the book of Maaseh, Acts. And there's knowledge revealed in the book of John that none of us, including me, ever knew or heard before. It was all delivered by Abba through me in those videos. It's really powerful. Very powerful. knowledge is certainly increasing in the world too, but more importantly, with the Father's Word, and the number of people that are ignoring it, the darkness is getting darker and thicker. The light is getting brighter in those who have the light. The love for His name is magnified in us, but outside, there were people that were loving His name before that we all knew. They've rejected it and they've shut it down. They refuse to speak it. It's like crazy. Oh dear. So anyway, looking for the questions. Pat Carlson, where can we find a complete glossary of words? What are you talking about, Pat? You mean words like English, French, Spanish? Talking about the Hebrew stuff? Look, what do you got, little girl? I heard that. Ring them bells.
The glossary in the HalleluYah Scriptures is a great place to start, because I think they cover all the words that you typically use.
Yeah.
The glossary in the back.
Yeah. You know what they do? This one kills me.
I'm gonna get shot.
If you go back in the glossary and you look up chai, did you ever do that?
Oh yeah, life, and then life.
All it says is life. That's all it says. And then you're reading and you're like, well, wait a minute. Over here they printed life, and then over here they printed chai. What's the difference? They don't tell you the difference.
Show the new people how somebody gets shot.
Sorry.
Shalom. Yeah, HalleluYah Scriptures, I can get on their case. I'll get on anybody's case for anything, man. I mean, yeah, look, if you're going to do something, do it right, or don't do it at all, eh?
Sorry.
Jeez. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking, I'm like, hey, they got life here. Over here is chai. What's the difference? So I go to the glossary, and all I can find is chai, and it says life. So I talked to him. I says, look, what's the difference? And they hesitate. I says, look, chai is life eternal in the presence of the Father. And they just agreed with me, because I came up with something better than they could think of on their own. Stephanie Crow, I'll take straight and narrow for $500, caregiver. Alexandra Shipley, I can't thank you enough, Alan, for everything you've shared with and opened my eyes to. You've been a huge blessing to me regarding my roots and the truth of the Father's Word. Let me tell you something, Alexandria. Thank you for your esteem of me. I appreciate that. But it's the Father. He's done everything. And I'm one of His obedient children. There aren't too many around. Anyway, I think also, Pat, if you go to the HalleluYah Scriptures website, they have a book with all the names and stuff and their meanings. So they go beyond the glossary in the back. But the best thing to do is just keep watching my videos and picking up the lingo, because you don't want any dictionaries or anything like that. You'll give yourself a very bad education, because all the dictionaries, all they do is give you westernized, abstract interpretations of the Aramaic Hebrew words. It's all garbage. Roelian, is that how you pronounce it? Roelian? Why do we pray that with the armor of Yahweh we pitch our tents? Well, you have to understand, my friend, what it means to pitch tents. Pitching tents means that you do everything you do all day, every day, in concert with Elohim. You don't exclude him from anything. You include him in everything you are doing. So we pray and ask him to teach us how to pitch tents. I don't know where you got the idea that we pray with the armor of Yahweh that we pitch our tents. That sounds like somebody's making up their own doctrine. Stop listening to them.
Sorry.
What do you got?
Shot on his first day. Woohoo!
I fired that one in the air.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, you think we should give him one?
I think we should give him one.
All right. Here you go. Roelian, this is for you, man. Yeah, stand up, put your chest out, and I'll fire another one. You ready? There, didn't that feel good?
And I also directed him to Walking with Elohim. And then I said in July, I did 2 live streams on your behalf, one about the armor and one about the other thing you mentioned. So he can go back and find those. All
Cool.
3.
Yeah, go find those. She tried to take the show away from me, but it didn't work.
Oh, yeah, I tried.
I love you.
I love you too.
Waiting for a reaction there. All right, let's see. It's time to wrap it up. We're after the hour. Let me just quickly look for questions. Looks like, yeah, we can wrap this up. Here we go. Stephanie Crow. Alan, if you knew we had a few more years here, would you consider producing some realistic Bible stories for film? No, they would, no. No. Look, there's no producers of movies that would want to have anything to do with the truth. They just want to make money. We would never get along. It would never happen.
Sorry.
Hey, you got one today. Okay. Here we go. Roelian again. What's your opinion, Alan, on the book of Enoch? I'm sure Caregiver already told you. I read the whole book online. Go check it out. Christine J. I found your channel, Alan, in 2013 when I was wanting to learn Hebrew. So glad the Ruach led me to your channel. Yeah, Christine, because you won't learn Hebrew by studying Hebrew. They'll teach you the modern garbage. Garbage. No. What you get from me is the Father's original concrete understandings, not this worldly abstract garbage. Dana Day, I just watched the video in the Better Sheet series and was wondering why you thought Yahweh gave the people of Babylon to 70 Nephilim and split them up. I explained it there. Don't ask me here, Dana. I explained it in the study very clearly. If you didn't get it, slow down and watch it more carefully. It's not only in Genesis that the number 70 is given. It comes from other places in his word, and I deliver all that information to you. Go back and study it more carefully. Come on, we got to wrap it up here. Time's up. Tony Vernon. Rolling would be pronounced as row, from row, row, row your boat, and lean, rolling. Oh, thank you, Tony. Rolling. Now all I have to do is try and remember what you said. Probably won't. What happened? All right, we're almost there. Lavender Scent. Come on, man, that's not a name. That's a descriptive title. I don't smell any lavender. Put your name back there, will you? Alan, Elohim said I would know what to do. Question mark. He did? Is there a question somewhere there for me? Come on, put your name up there. None of this lavender scent stuff. Tell me your name. This is a family gathering. We want to know people's names. We want to see what their faces look like. Christine J. says, that's what I love about watching you, Alan, learning the original language. Amen, Christine. It's what it's all about. Okay, I think we're done, my friends. Yeah, we're done. Let's stop the chat. Let's bow our hearts and close with prayer. Dear beloved Abba, Father, oh, Abba, we come before you to thank you. To thee, Abba. Thank you, Father, for today's time with you and with the Mishpacha, our family. Thank you so much, Father, for opening a greater understanding in our eyes, ears, and hearts, that we might see, hear, and understand more about you, your Malchut, your kingdom, and your word. As we give this day, Father, and every day to you, Yeshua, and your Ruach HaKodesh, praying as we always do, through Yeshua, in Yahweh, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. And all the Kodeshim said,
Amen.
Amen. The Kodeshim, that's the dedicated ones. Any final thoughts, little girl?
I gotta say, I had so much fun in the chat today. We had 2 new people. They were lapping it up. There was no darkness in the chat, and it was just beautiful. So much fun.
Cool. Glad to hear it. All right. Love you.
Love you too. Shalom.
Shalom. Yes, we love you, my friends, our family members, and thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with it. This is the narrow path, hard to find. Few find it, few even look for it, but fewer find it, and then fewer still stay on it. Stick with it, my friends. We're not long for this earth. The tribulation is fast approaching. Anyway, today is Tuesday. Abba willing, we will pick up where we left off this coming Thursday, probably around the same time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. So until then, keep your wicks trimmed and keep your lamps burning bright. Shalom, Chavarim, my friends.
All tied up, too many strings, tangled and dangling at the end of a rope. Had enough of too many things, yeah, before it all adds up to one major overload. Let it go, oh, into the river that flows. Let it go, oh, catching up pulls you down. Tomorrow never comes when we're around. Fall in love right here and now, yeah. Yesterday is just a fading sunset on your shadow. Let it go, oh, just let the river flow. Let it go, yeah. pointless fingers aim at nothing, asking you to believe that your brothers and sisters are taking something that you're gonna need. Yeah. And don't you wonder why you look for alibis when all you really want is what you already know. Look at today and how you ought to know by now. You never really held anything until you let it go. Oh, don't you know? You let the river flow. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, just like a river flow, yeah, let it